Let's look at Python's try and except commands. These are very interesting because they can handle runtime exceptions. These are things that the program is running and you don't want it to explode. If it encounters a problem, you want it to deal with it and go on. You just don't want the program crashing. One of the most common is like when you're doing input from a user, maybe you ask them for an integer like their age or something, and they enter something like ABC. You don't want the program to crash. You want it to be able to go back and say, no, I'm sorry, that was wrong. We want your age, numeric age, or something like that. So this will deal with that situation. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got a function, and it's quite simple. I call it divide test. So x and y, we're going to give it x and y, and we're just going to get the result. And so the first thing is it's going to try to do this calculation. If it finds a problem, like there's a value error, a type error, zero division error, it's going to do this. It's going to print out this result. So rather than crash, it's going to do this. It's going to print error, and then it's going to tell me these two values. Otherwise, it's going to print the result, no problem, right? It's okay, it worked. So it's going to print the answer Z. And then the last thing is kind of a strange thing, is this will always execute. Regardless of what happens up here, this will execute. Now this is not the same as like putting code down here and allowing it to run through. This will always execute. Whether you try to branch away or whatever, this will always execute. Okay, so that's our test routine. That's our test function. And here's the data we're going to feed it. We're going to feed it a 4 and a 2, a 3 and a 0, and then this is a character. This is not a integer as it looks. It's a character. And then a 0. And we'll see what happens. Okay, so the first one, 4 divided by 2 is 2. So it came down here, it gave us that result, no error, 2. The next time we called the function, we gave it a 3 and a 0. So 3 divided by 0 is an error condition. So it did the 0 division error, and it came down here and it said error, 3 and 0. So it told us what caused the error. And then the last one is division test, 4 and 0. And again, it gave us an error because you can't put a string into an integer. So this is text divided by 0. That doesn't work. Okay, so this is very useful again for filtering out problems that could crash your program. Okay, well, I hope you found that useful and interesting in your Python programming.